I'm Dale Smith for Loonie Politics, and the price of food remains a constant issue in Canadian politics, and everyone has a solution which may not actually be correct. The Conservatives insist that the carbon price is what is to blame for high food price inflation, but we know from Bank of Canada data that the carbon price only contributes about 0.15% to overall inflation, and it can't, therefore, be contributing to food price inflation, making it over 6 or 7%. The math just doesn't work. The NDP, meanwhile, insists that this is all the work of grocery CEOs and that this is just corporate profit taking. But we also know from data that the profit margins in these grocery chains haven't actually increased, and therefore it's hard to make the mathematical case for greedflation. Yes, competition is a problem in the grocery sector, and this is something the government hopes to address. However, that's not really the main driver. What we do need to do, and which the government has not been pointing to, is looking to the data. Now, if you go to StatsCan and you look at the Consumer Price Index, which is what measures inflation, and you look at things like the crop reports or the livestock reports or the Industrial Raw Material Prices Index, you will see a big pattern around the high price of food having a lot to do with supply issues. And a lot of the supply issues are because of drought. We had a massive drought on the Canadian prairies in 2021, which wiped out 40% of our crop. This year is not looking much better. And what that winds up doing is raising prices because there's less supply. Likewise, with livestock, when we had the drought, farmers couldn't feed the cattle, so they culled the herds. And there is, as a result, less supply available for the market. This is all stuff that we actually know, and we should be putting the pieces together to make a fuller picture for why food prices are so high. Now, a lot of this is related to climate change. Droughts are a big result of the way climate is changing, and we need to be more cognizant of that. It's also why we're seeing things like flash floods wiping out farms and herds in places, why hurricanes along the coasts do things like wipe out the orange crop in Florida and raise those prices. And California, where Canada sources a good deal of its produce, has been under drought conditions for a very long time now. And that is constantly increasing the price of food as different crops fail as a result of these droughts. So these are things that we should be more aware of when we are talking about why food prices are so high. Canada should also be having discussions about making our supply chains more resilient, which means doing things like building more greenhouses in Canada, but that's not going to make things cheaper in the short term because it's a very intensive capital cost on the outlay. So we need to have these conversations. We need to be aware as to the reasons why. And we need to know that there are no simple solutions for this. And that's why we should be aware of any political party that is offering a quick fix. For Loonie Politics, I'm Dale Smith.